Hey folks, alright, well, here we are, another open pagan church. Things are a little dark, there we go. Alright, bring up Discord. Hello Discord.
Hello.
Alright then, hope everybody's doing well this morning. I guess I could turn my mic down a little bit so I don't blow people out. So what's going on in the big city?
Nah, not much. Big city of Beaumont, Texas. Hey, we're doing okay.
And the tiny hovel of Lakota is doing just fine.
How's Dallas up there? No, Princeton?
Yeah, well, 45 miles north of north, yeah, north of now. Hell, I can't even talk.
Da, da, da.
45 miles north of Dallas. We're hot, averaging 105 to 106 a day, and
Hey, Don.
yo,
You need some powder on that head. It's shiny.
hey, leave my sexy landing strip alone, woman. My hair keeps falling down in my beard, so I mean, eventually I will have no hair up top, and my beard will be down to my belt buckle. There was a day I could grow hair and beard down to belt buckle, but I kind of got old.
Yep.
Which is something that happened. I mean, come on.
Yep.
So, well, let's let's do a little lead up in today's topic, if we shall.
Shall?
If you'll notice, this channel has never done a conversation on what is evil. Even when we were doing conversations in circle down south, we never did conversations on what is evil. There's kind of a couple of reasons for that. One, what is evil? Well, the term evil is a word that essentially brought on by many of the Christian faith to explain things that were going on with people psychologically that they had no idea of. And it's even used today. Now, the interesting part is, you guys know I like the dictionary, and if you look up the definition of evil, you're going to love this. The definition of evil is profoundly immoral and wicked. That is the only definition of evil, which is profoundly immoral and wicked. Well, hell, if that's the case, y'all, there's your proof that government is evil.
Oh, comment.
There is no such thing as evil.
You're right.
There are evil intentions, there are evil deeds, but truly no one is actually evil.
True. And agreed. And see, here's the thing. And Debbie and I were talking about this the other day, and my stroke our interpretation of evil, okay, as far as human beings go. All right.
Morning, Kenny.
Hey, Kenny. The definition of evil for human beings would be an individual that gets pleasure and delight and enjoyment out of causing harm and or harming others. What do y'all think?
Well, I mean, you could look at it that way, but when you stop and think about it, most people that are mass murderers or pedophiles, they have something mentally wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So, are they truly evil, or just their deeds are evil?
and see, this is kind of one of the places I was going to go with this a little later on. Absolutely. But let's think about the people that get pleasure. Now, let's assume, nah, change that word to presume. Let's presume that an individual is essentially psychologically sound. They're not schizophrenic, bipolar, paranoid, manic depressive, or anything of this nature. But let's think about individuals, and Lester, I know you and I both have known people like this in years past because we've both known the same people. That when you look at them, nobody's home.
Yeah.
When you look into their eyes, there's no reflection, there's no depth, there's no.
You can go ahead and say it. No soul.
Okay, no soul. Would that individual that delights in the control, the manipulation, the destruction, and dismay of other humans and animals, because these people seem to delight in torturing animals as well. Could that be, and I'm not making a compensity argument for one side or the other, but could that be construed as evil?
Well, we construe the actions as acts of evil, but the person themselves are generally, like I said, mentally disturbed. So their actions, even though it seems like they know what they're doing, most of them don't have the capacity to stop.
Most of them, you're right.
Because,
Yeah.
like I said, they don't have a soul. They don't feel like we feel.
Well, there's no empathy.
Yeah, there's no empathy. Uh, it's a clinical term. They're psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah, there is actually a clinical term for complete lack of empathy. And I don't think it's psychotic. I can't remember what the actual term is.
I used to watch Criminal Minds all the time.
Right.
But I mean, they have no control over what they're doing.
Right. Right.
To them, it's the norm. It's like us going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
They go out and they kill people and kill animals, and it's not like they enjoy it. It's they don't have any. They don't feel pleasure. They don't feel pain. They don't feel empathy.
But what about the people that do?
Well, to categorize them as evil is a misnomer. I mean, they're not evil. Their deeds are evil. Their actions are evil, but they themselves are not evil. They're disturbed.
Right. So, and the same goes for. Now we know that magic is the manipulation of energy. We all agree on that, right?
Yes.
And we know that energy is energy. There are no such things as there is no such thing as black magic, white magic. There's only magic, which is there's only energy.
Right. So the term is not white magic, black magic. It's gray magic, because you can use it either way.
Right. But we also know of those individuals that enjoy using destructive, or well, they enjoy using energy and magic in a destructive force.
Oh, don't we? Back.
Well,
So,
you know, to turn this from a psychological debate to a moral debate, you know, in Christianity we have good and we have evil, but we also have the ability to confess our sins and you know, change our way, turn back to the light, as it were.
Right.
The only true evil that we have in the Catholic faith is the devil. But when you look at the devil, he's not actually evil. He just questioned God to the point where God threw him out.
right. And therein lies the problem with society. You know, I mean, come on. If you question your boss, and I got to be real careful what I say here because of my job, but if you question your boss and you question the actions of your boss, you will get fired.
Yeah, you put your ass on the line.
Yeah. But that's not evil. That is fear.
Right. And that basically that's the whole underlying cause of Lucifer's expulsion from heaven was fear. He
Yeah.
feared humans. You know, he looked at it as, why is God putting human beings above his first creation, the angels?
Well, if we think about it from a pagan standpoint,
Morning, Thomas.
hey, Thomas. Morning, Lee. If we think about it from a pagan standpoint, of course, pagans don't believe in the devil, but there is, and we don't believe in hell. Hell is self-created. Hell and the devil was created by the Christians to keep everyone in line through fear.
Mm-hmm.
Hell is one of those oxymoronic statements because it was it was taken from the Norse religion. Warriors that died in battle went to Valhalla, which is the great party of the
Right,
gods.
right,
Warriors that died in their beds went to hell,
right,
hell's chamber, which is it's not. It was not fire and brimstone. It was a place of I don't know how you state it. It was a place of shame.
yeah,
For a warrior to die without dying in battle was shameful.
right, right,
You died in being an old man. It just meant that you weren't a good warrior.
Right.
right,
And when Christianity took over the Norse people, they used that. They assimilated that belief structure into a heaven and a hell.
Now,
If you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to hell.
right. It goes back to that yes, no, black, white, right, wrong.
Right.
And then
Even
they
in the mythology of the Greeks, you had Zeus, who was the All-Father,
right,
who loved human beings, and you had Hera, who was the All-Mother, who hated human beings.
right,
So it's a constant struggle. It's the black versus the white, with the human stuck in the middle.
pretty much.
But the followers of Hera didn't see Hera as evil. They seen Hera as their queen.
Well, much like Luciferians follow Lucifer, They don't see Lucifer as evil. Morning, Dave. But let's think about what we consider evil in 2020.
Let's not go to the political stance.
No. I wasn't even going to go there.
Because I will point it out just like I've been saying. There's no such thing as evil people. There's just evil deeds and evil actions.
Right.
Evil thoughts.
Evil thoughts.
Right.
Yeah, everybody has those.
Oh boy. Oh boy. But what people use evil, and I'm trying to get the thought across that I've been meditating on for the last couple of weeks. People use the assumption of evil, the personification of evil, the living of what evil ways, if you will.
Debbie did a good point.
People use it as fear. Okay? people use it as fear. And yeah, it it's like Debbie says, for her, evil is someone's intent on destruction of creating the pain and enjoying the pain they inflict. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, that she and I were talking about earlier during the week, is they enjoy creating chaos. They with the pain that they inflicted. And Dave says people use the word evil in the same way they use race. Yeah, they do. Sadly, they do. But if we change the verbiage, okay, especially in these times in 2020, where so many people are trying to make so many things about black and white, there's a simplicity of right and wrong. Okay? Let's take, and along the lines of what Lester was saying earlier, let's take some of the things that people are doing today in 2020. You've got basically good people doing really nasty things. And I'm going to bring
got
up...
too much time on their hands.
yeah. And I want to bring up this point rather loosely, but it really does make a point. The guy, and I'm not going to use the term police or cop, because to me, he was not being a police officer or a cop when he knelt on a man's neck, right? And you see the pictures of the look in his face.
Mm-hmm.
To me, in my mind, in my way of thinking, that is the personification of evil, because this man had no empathy. He did not care that he was kneeling on the neck of another human being. And from a pagan standpoint, somebody should have grabbed him by the throat, put handcuffs on him, and throw his ass in the police car first. Because it reaches a point where it's no longer about black and white. It's about what's right and what's wrong. And when, quote, people are doing, quote, evil things, does that not make them just as wrong as the people that did the things to cause the evil actions of basically relatively good people? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Anybody?
Say again?
I am not going to say that whole fucking statement all over again.
Sorry,
In
I'm
short,
slightly from work here, so I'm not thinking straight.
okay, in short, if basically good people allow themselves to be caught up in very destructive, very hateful deeds, does that make them evil or does that make them confused?
Confused.
And damn, I got to catch up with what people have been saying over here on the left. Debbie says, but we need evil as well as good, just as we need the whole spectrum of energy of pain. Yeah, I can see that. Lee says, my definition of evil is an energy. Hell. The screen started scrolling. Lee says, my definition of evil is an energy that works to pick apart and crush the spirit of another and enjoying it. Okay. Debbie says, agreed. And, you could see that. She's talking about the guy that knelt on the neck of the other gentleman. You could see he was enjoying what he was doing. Yeah, I mean, you look at the pictures of what this jackass was doing. He was actually enjoying it. Debbie goes on to say, the weaker people, the easier they are to manipulate into doing something that is detrimental to others. Weak. Well, yeah. And the thing we run into with evil, okay, let's call it evil deeds, evil actions, evil energy, whatever. When people become a part of the mob mentality, when people become a part of monkey see, monkey do, when people become a part of sheep mentality, in other words, they're just going to follow where the masses go and do what the masses do, irregardless of right or wrong. Evil is a term, and I think we all agree, like what we started talking out about. Evil is simply a term to describe the actions of others, right?
Right.
So, if we get right down to it, does evil even exist? Anybody?
I would say yes and no.
Okay. Why?
Like,
The
look at,
term
go ahead.
the term evil is not. How am I going to put this?
A term evil is where a person's action nowadays is evil.
Yeah, it's the actions that are considered the evil. It's doing something to someone else with no thought of bodily injury, mental injury. Abusive people. They do evil deeds because they don't realize that they're hurting people.
But Lester, if a person does so much evil in their life and in continuous evil, does that person become evil?
No, I don't believe that.
But if they have to survive in this world and all they know is how to do is evil and there's no good in them.
Well, to me, that shows that they don't have a good person in their life to show them the wrong that they're doing.
Well, now I have to disagree with you, Lester, on that one. Debbie says it's a descriptive term. Yeah, agreed. Lee says evil deeds exist. Of course, we understand that. But to say that someone is evil or doing evil deeds or allowing evil to consume them because they don't have someone in their life to help them change that, I have to disagree with that. Because
Okay.
at the end of the day, it is my responsibility and mine alone to be a good person. Lester, you've known 90% of all of my relationships.
Oh yeah.
And if I was to be a personification of my relationships,
Oh boy.
You dog.
I absolutely would not be doing open pagan church. I would be doing how many people can we destroy today? I would be doing how many people can I control today and make them bend to my will?
Oh, we know people like that.
But the point to it is it comes down to it's my responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's everyone else's responsibility
You getting that?
to be a good person, to make the choices, think before they speak, be okay with looking back at yourself in the mirror going, I'm doing the best I can to do the best I can with what I have to do with. Does that make any sense? Now granted, if we surround ourselves with angry people that have ill content, if we surround ourselves with people that are angry with society and everyone else, that's angry with everyone else because what's the old saying we grew up with in the 60s? The devil made me do it.
The devil made me do it.
Right. But therein goes a sign of the times, in that not just in 2020, so I don't want people to think I'm going off on a tangent that I would ever do that, but since the beginning of, and I'm going to say it, forgive me, Lester, since the beginning of humanity and the, quote, Christian church, people have been taught, fear God, do not bend to the ways of the devil, and life is only right or wrong. There is no in between. Now,
I agree with that statement.
okay, let's think about what this does to kids. We've raised our daughter to believe that, yeah, there are right things, and yeah, there are wrong things. But life is not about right or wrong. Life is about doing the right thing, whatever that is to you at the moment, and if that right thing leads to bad actions, then you need to think about what you're doing before you do it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, perfect.
And I will say this: people who watch our archives, right? I know that I can't copy and paste the live chat, but you all should really come back and read the live chat. Debbie makes a really good point of someone she used to work with that she and I've talked about before, that you listen to some of the stories that are told about this individual that used to work with her. That could absolutely lead you to believe that there are devil reincarnate. I know of two that she worked with. One of them was a man, and the other one was a woman. Now the guy that she's talking about, I've met. I've spent some time talking to this fella. And to sit and talk to him man to man, you'd never know. But when the guy starts interacting with other human beings, and the things that he does and the way he treats people was just absolutely nasty.
Then,
And you know, Lee makes a good point with what she's saying. You know, I think she says, I think some people are evil, just like a drug. It feels good for now, but it really makes people do evil things.
What is evil? What constitutes evil?
And that's kind of what we've been talking about the whole time, Paul, is what constitutes evil. And we really can't hear you at all. I can barely hear you.
How about me?
Talking about you and Cindy right now.
Oh, I just. What constitutes evil? Because what may be evil to you may not be evil to me. Just, I know I'm coming in really late. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And this is one of the things that we've kind of already talked about, really, is what constitutes evil really is perception. But I think we all agree that what constitutes evil is, like Debbie says, inflicting pain and chaos on others. And I think what really constitutes evil is someone who truly enjoys the infliction of pain on other individuals. What the hell is that?
He's talking about the
Okay. I mean, Don, tell me a little. You said for the group, is this an adult group or is this an open meeting? Is this adult?
no, family oriented.
Paul, we can't hear you, bruh.
I can't. It has to do with the life.
Still can't hear you.
Actually, we used to.
Can't hear them?
No.
No, okay.
Can't get up. You heard that.
Well, I mean, in short, if we think about it, we can.
See, it's like Paul is good. He's good, but he has evil thoughts.
Would a sadist be evil?
Would a sadist be evil?
Depends on the actions, I would imagine. And it would also depend on how much pain and, how much
Enjoyment they get?
Right. It comes down to the enjoyment that they get for bringing destruction and bringing pain and,
That's not evil though. That's something that is consensual.
well, now herein lies the point.
Yeah.
There's the rub.
There's the rub. Is if, okay, take for example sadist. Take for example BDSM. Take for example, we're not talking about consensual ideologies. We're not talking about consensual pain. We're not talking about
Right. Okay.
we're not talking about sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me type thing.
Keep me, whip me, make me bleed.
Right.
Trying to get off topic. I was just bringing up for instance.
Yep.
Oh no, yeah. And the whole thing is evil, okay? When you're talking about the personification of evil and you're talking about the actions of others.
Okay. Evil is the physical manifestation of jealousy, greed, malice, hate, revenge.
In that I think we all agree. It's it's um it's the type of thing where people get absolute enjoyment and pleasure out of causing pain, discontent, manipulation, and control and chaos of other people's lives, right? And
Evil.
it's like Lonnie says, I've met many Satanists, and they're very kind and would not harm anyone and down to earth people. Yes, Lonnie, I absolutely agree with you.
I'm
Um,
married to.
I've right,
Not a like Satanist.
Oh, not Satan.
right,
Not a Satanist.
right. But I've stood in the satanic circles. I've sit and spoke with um, people who follow the true philosophy of satanic, and it's a very interesting philosophy. Just like Luciferianism. Now, Luciferianism and a Satanist will tell you point blank, and so will a Luciferian, that they're two different philosophies.
Right.
Now, I completely understand that evil is a personal thing, and we can debate. Okay, we can debate all day long
Hey, Jamie.
whether one person is evil, one person isn't. We can debate all day long the philosophy, the understanding, and the personification or the actions of an individual, whether or not that makes them evil. And I tend to agree with Lester from my own point of view and my own history with with evil people or people who do evil things, is that evil itself, evil in the idea of the way the Christian church perceives evil, doesn't actually exist. Now, in retrospect, evil can also be, and in many cases is, something that is manipulated, encouraged, brought on by, and enforced by people's actions and words. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, agreed. Like you said, people are evil if they do their actions.
but I've had people come to me and damn Facebook's cutting out again. Um, People have come to me and said, I'm having evil thoughts. Okay,
We all.
okay.
If someone did that to me, I'm having evil thoughts. Okay, is it bodily gonna hurt you? Are you gonna bodily hurt someone else? Are you gonna cast against someone? Because
Well,
I had a friend who say, I'm so pissed off, I want to cast something on this person, a death threat. And I said, whoa, wait, stop. You know, think about it. 24 hours.
well, your actions and in some cases lack of action
Hmm.
can make those actions or inactions evil depending. And here's the biggest reason, and if you'll remember when we first opened the broadcast, I said there is a specific particular reason why I have never done a broadcast and never did a conversation in circle on evil.
Because there's too broad of a subject and has too many variables.
Yes, absolutely.
Jamie,
There's
are you with us? You got someone in chat. You haven't said anything.
Yeah, I'm here, but I just erased my comment. It's okay.
Good morning, lady.
Good morning.
Let me give you a hypothetical, okay?
All right, come on.
All right. Let's say I'm not wealthy and I'm not well off, but I only have enough basic necessities to feed myself. All right. Somebody comes to me and has starving kids. I turn around and I go steal food from a grocery store to give to those kids. Does that make my actions evil?
The only actions I think in that would be evil is if you cooked one of the children.
And fed it to the other ones.
Okay, that's just wrong. Bad, Jamie. Well,
But truly, I mean, what is evil?
right,
The intentions that I'm stating was I did something wrong for the good of someone else.
right.
But that doesn't make me evil. That
No.
just makes me stupid.
Well, as far as legalities go, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, there. Yeah, I was going to say that somewhere I read there was a law enacted. Hell, what country was that? Anyway, there was a law enacted that stated if you are stealing to feed your family, that was not illegal.
But there's a lot of places that you can go find free food.
Now,
Understood. Yeah, now.
yes,
but
now.
I was giving a hypothetical. It wasn't,
Yeah, no.
I got you. I got it.
So,
the actions of taking from another is, in some places, considered evil.
yes,
But when you stop and think about it, I created an evil deed to do a good deed.
but was it an
Does that
evil
cancel that
deed?
evil out?
Was it an evil
Well,
deed or was it just wrong?
It was, well, it's wrong, but in some places that's considered an evil deed. Let's take the Persian philosophy: a thief loses a hand.
Right.
Okay, it's an evil deed, but if you're doing it to feed somebody who cannot feed themselves, does that make you a bad person?
That would have to depend on the society in which you live.
Right. You take the Robin Hood mentality. Robin Hood stole from the rich to give to the poor because the poor was being taxed beyond their means. So was Robin an evil person? No, his actions were evil in a sense, but his intentions were good. You see where I'm going with it? It's one of those unanswerable questions in life.
Right.
Is something truly evil?
One ultimate example can be summed up in one name: Hitler.
Yeah, well, there you go.
He was a personification of evil.
I have another name to add to that list, but I'll keep it quiet because it's being recorded.
Yeah, let's not. I'm trying very hard not to go there.
X's don't count.
I got your back, Don. I'll do it for you.
Thanks, I think.
His actions were considered evil actions.
Yeah.
But when you stop and think about it, Hitler was not a well man. He did have some mental issues.
That's what I'm saying. So was he evil, or were his actions the evil issue?
His actions were evil. I don't actually think Hitler himself was an evil person. I think he was just mentally disturbed.
They show in his history that there's some good in Hitler at times. You know, he was mentally disturbed, but sometimes he was nice to people.
Yeah, he loved his children.
Yep.
He loved Ava.
He loved Ava. Loved her to death.
Yeah, loved her to death. I was just fixing to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's look at this from another avenue, okay? And we're 51 minutes into the broadcast, so let's kind of look at this from a different avenue. I want to be sure that we don't get lost in the interpretation of evil. But let's presume a moment. Okay, I'll use the word pretend. Let's pretend for a moment that laws were eradicated and prison.
The world just went to hell in a handbasket.
Right. But let's pretend for a moment that jail, prison, and all of that was eradicated. And let's presume for a moment that when someone did armed robbery, they were sent to years of mental help, quote unquote. It's been proven many times that a psychologist or a psychiatrist can easily be fooled by a master manipulator into believing they're cured because it gets them out. I had someone ask me once, well, if people's evil actions were not controlled by laws and imprisonment, and I'm damn sure not going to get into the debate of the death sentence, but if people's actions were not controlled by law, we would have absolute pandemonium.
We'd be back in the Stone Ages.
Oh boy. And I would be one of the first ones to go out and purchase a 12 gauge shotgun and a good rifle with a scope on it.
Just look at any apocalyptic movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if
So, in a nutshell, you're saying, or to close, I guess you could say, is evil is actions of deeds and thoughts of people in society.
not even thoughts.
So what Forrest would say is evil is as evil does.
Okay, I can see that. But evil as the assumption of what evil is in society is not actually evil until it's brought forth by the actions and intent of others.
Correct.
I believe I believe wholeheartedly, especially in my experiences uh, my whole life,
Oh boy.
evil is much like faith. If you believe hard enough that you eventually begin to believe that you are 100% faithful or 100% evil. Now, of course, there are a million different variables in between. We could discuss for hours what makes evil and what makes good and what makes bad, what makes right and what makes wrong. But in the agreed upon assumption that evil is simply a word to describe the actions of others. I believe that I have a choice. You have a choice to do good by other human beings or to do bad by other human beings. And I firmly believe that if you do bad enough, if you treat people wrongly enough, and you specifically purposely set out to hurt other people enough, I believe evil becomes a real thing to you and your actions. What do y'all think?
In the sight of others.
Huh?
In the sight of others.
Yeah?
Right.
Person becomes the epitome of evil in the sight of others. But in his mind, is he really doing evil?
That's a good point.
That's the point I was trying to make. Is
So we can't actually clarify this point because there's too many variables in it.
yes,
You know, we
It's
look at
about
somebody
perception.
like somebody like Hitler as being an evil person. Got it.
what about Mussolini?
But what about Alexander the Great?
Right.
Napoleon.
What about Napoleon?
Yeah,
What about Philip of France?
yeah,
Every action that they took could be construed as being evil actions, but they did it for their people.
Caligula.
yeah.
Caligula, yes.
Not a
Nero, you know, any of the Roman emperors.
What about present day?
No, we're not
Present
going.
day.
We can't
We're
go
not
there.
going to go present day. We're not
We're not
going
gonna
to
go-
go present day.
Now you're getting into politics, and we ain't done.
No, we're not. We're not going to go there. I've got my finger hovering over the exit button.
Basically,
My
being
point
crazy.
is that no one is truly evil. It's the actions that they take that are considered evil.
Right.
There are remorseless people in this world that do bad things. Yes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil.
Right.
It just means they're confused and or lost.
Well, therein lies the whole point, doesn't it?
Yep.
Right.
So, in closing, I'd like everybody to, and I apologize to the people that were watching live in Facebook, because Facebook, well, is Facebook and doing what Facebook does. But anyway, evil is brought on by actions. But at the end of the day, be nice to your fellow human beings, people. Be nice to people, be nice to animals, take care of Mother Earth, take care of yourself, and go from there. That's my thought. Well, folks, hey, thank you for listening. It's been a wonderful conversation. I kind of wish we could go over an hour, but um, people, quite frankly, lose interest in the conversation after a while. But listen, you all have a great day. I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Open Pagan Church. Have a great day.